To begin, not just early with COVID vaccines, but with anti-COVID pills as well. Israel set to receive its first shipment of Pfizer's game-changing treatment today. Signing off on the purchase over the weekend, the Israeli Ministry of Health finalizing a shipment of some 100,000 doses of pharma giant Pfizer-BioNTech's new anti-COVID pill. The shipment scheduled to arrive in Israel by Wednesday, December 29, and the treatment to be made available free of charge to all Israelis in high-risk groups. Hailed for its efficacy in early trials and marketed under the brand name Paxlovid, the US FDA granting emergency authorization to the pill just earlier in the month. Clinical trials proving a 90% success rate in preventing severe COVID-related infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. Though the pill is just one more tool in the government's fight against repeatedly rising infections, particularly in the face of the Omicron variant, of which hundreds of new cases in Israel confirmed overnight. Then Israel also seeing nearly 3,000 new cases of all strains for the second straight day, making for a total of 17,260 confirmed active infections. The spread rate at 2.48% and rising. Hospitals, meantime, bracing for an influx of patients, reopening COVID wards in some cases for the fifth time, and this as other seasonal illnesses already pressuring their maximum capacities. Still, all that said, COVID-related hospitalizations remaining relatively steady, for now, and nearly 90% of severe infections among the unvaccinated or high-risk groups. So to avoid what Prime Minister Naftali Bennett is calling a de facto lockdown, the government actually voting to relieve some of the restrictions on the public. For one, classrooms in red cities, grades 1 through 6, where a student with COVID is verified, will shift to a reduced contact format as opposed to automatically switching to online learning. Further, quarantine regulations for travelers as well as for those who come in contact with infected persons updated again. Locally, fully vaxxed individuals who come in contact with the infected will only need to isolate until a negative test is received, after which they're asked to avoid crowded or recreational venues and high-risk demographics. The unvaccinated, on the other hand, must quarantine for a full week while undergoing tests as a condition of release. Then, internationally speaking, Israelis returning from red countries will undergo PCR tests and remain in home quarantine until a negative test is produced, all while signed on to the Haskamon phone tracking app. Otherwise, travelers must isolate at designated hotels. And finally, the travel red list amended to include Mexico on top of the United States, the UK, the UAE, Canada, and select European countries. But overall, the listing reduced from 69 countries to just 15, with nearly all of Africa, Germany, Denmark, Belgium, and Italy rebranded as orange. ILTV Plus, your news from Israel and more 24/7. Start your free trial today. Subscribe at iltv.tv and watch from any device.